So I went to Japan. Specifically, I went to Fukuoka, and all I have to say is, at least Fukuoka, Japan, is an amazing place. It's an amazing city, and I'm gonna guess that the rest of Japan is it's the same as Fukuoka in terms of quality of life. And so here are some pictures. Now, all I have to say is when it comes to food or decorations, when it comes to interior, Japanese people, they really focus on the fine details. They focus on the little things. And when you focus on all the little things, it all adds up. So the end finished product is really good. So like even with especially the food, they'll focus on the little things, and when it all adds up, it tastes really good. Okay. And it's not just food, when it comes to design or their interior design in restaurants, or I guess other forms of service. They focus on the little things, and it all adds up to to something much bigger. And that's one thing that I've noticed about Japan. Now this guy here, that's me. Okay, I'm showing you pictures of my trip to Japan. I'm sorry, I like crypto. But anyway, so that is one thing about Japan that I can say that's really amazing about the country or the culture, the people, is they focus on the little things, and yeah, it all adds up where the finished product is just better, Now, I also do jujitsu or retjitsu. But anyway, another thing about Japan I noticed while I was there is they don't like to waste things. Okay? And so, like the hotel that I was at, Japanese cars, and I guess maybe Japanese apartments, they're actually smaller. The rooms are smaller because they don't like to waste space. They like to be really efficient with the amount of space that they use. So, like I live in South Korea. One thing, like you go to hotel, apartments, cars are bigger in Korea. But in Japan, they're smaller. But I think for me, it's because in Japan, the Japanese people or the culture don't like to waste. They don't like to waste space. They like to be really efficient. And so, yeah, I mean, if your apartment is bigger, your car is bigger, like you're gonna, the utility bills will go up. You're gonna use up more gas. You're using up more space. Another thing about how Japanese people don't like to waste is when I was there and I was eating at different restaurants, I've noticed Japanese people, they eat everything they order. At least that's what it seemed like to me whenever I checked or looked around, is that in Japan, they don't waste food. If they order it, they will eat it. Okay? And so that's one thing. Another thing is, Japanese people don't like to waste things. Okay? And, so even like cars are more narrow and they don't like to waste space. And so that's definitely something I noticed about Japan. Also about Japan, like here, this is a picture of the streets, open road. But the land, the grass is greener. I don't know, maybe there's the land is richer but it's greener. Also, the streets are much cleaner. I mean, I live in Korea. Korea is not bad. Like, it's not, you don't see a lot of trash on the streets and stuff. It's not bad. Some parts of Korea is really clean. But in Japan, I never seen such consistency of cleanness on public streets. Okay, and here like the cars. Also in Japan, they have car models that I guess you only see in Japan. They don't sell these models anywhere else in another country. But once again, if you look at the cars, you'll notice they're narrow. Okay, they're more narrow than, at least in the States, because I grew up in the States or in Korea. Look, I mean, if you see all the pictures on, like, you see no trash on the streets. Everything is really clean. Like Fukuoka, the city, I think it's the 5th most populated city in Japan. And so all the buildings are well maintained. Like, you don't even see like buildings where like the paint is faded. All the buildings are pretty well upkept. All right, I live in South Korea. I live in Koyang. Koyang is one of the biggest cities in South Korea. I live in Ilsan, which is one of the best parts of Koyang. And some of the apartment buildings, you might see some faded paint. And so, every so many years or so, they'll renew. They'll do a paint job on the whole apartment complex. But still, while I was going through Fukuoka, I never seen any like buildings that it didn't look like they didn't manage it well. Everything was well managed, like in terms of the buildings, how clean the streets were, all of that. And so you got to give props where props is due. Like here, look at these streets, okay? Clean. There's no trash. No trash. All right? Once again, like I said, you got to give props where they deserve it. Just clean, sure, cleaner than Korea. Cleaner than the States. I mean, man. But anyway, so yeah. I mean, just look at the buildings. It was raining, so you could see some rain, but I mean, the buildings were pretty well upkept. The food, once again, they focus on the small details. Okay. And yeah, so, and also, not only they don't waste food, but one thing I've noticed about when I eat at restaurants in Japan, the people, Japanese people, I guess is a cultural, is a cultural thing, but they're quiet. They don't make a lot of noise when they eat, in terms of like, they're not shouting, talking out loud. Japanese people, when they eat, they're quiet. I've noticed just even walking in crowded areas or in restaurants, they're very considerate of other people or the people around them. They don't like to be distractive. They don't like to make things uncomfortable for other people. And yeah, so I mean, they're quiet. Also in Japan, even in restaurants, you have a lot of places where like you can just eat by yourself individually. And I guess it's part of the culture. People are kind of they're not as social as other cultures. Like Korean people, I would say we're more social than Japanese people. At least that's what I've noticed when I was there. And in the States, we're very social. Like I could just say hi to anyone in the States. Even in Korea, if I said hi to random people, they might look at me like, why are you saying hi to me? But in Japan, people kind of just tend to be very respectful and mind their own business and to be quiet, because being loud will be being distractive, So yeah, in Japan, people are quiet. Even restaurants aren't really that loud. They don't waste food. And what is that, trash? Oh my goodness. Okay, but anyway, that's shocking. All right, somebody threw trash. Now this is a tourist attraction, so even this, I imagine it was foreigner who came to visit Japan and they threw some trash on the ground. So yeah, my experience of Japan, I mean, this is a streets of a rural area, just clean. It's just, and this is like some ritual thing that they do. I don't, something about their local gods in this town. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, look at this, beautiful. So yeah, that was my experience in Japan. Now, if there are a couple of things as a visitor, oh, that's when I came home. Okay, this is where I live. You can see everything's big, it's more spacious, right? In Japan, they like to save space. So now, here's the thing. Oh, okay. Now, are there a couple of things that I wish Japan would upgrade? Well, there's definitely one thing. Is, at least in Fukuoka, I don't know how it is in Tokyo or the other, other major cities in Japan, like Osaka, but Wi-Fi was a bit slow. There's a lag in their Wi-Fi. Okay, so, cause I live in South Korea, Wi-Fi is really fast. It's fast. If you're on your cell phone, you have children, like I have children, and they're playing mobile games, like there's no lag. In Japan, when they're logged into the hotel Wi-Fi or some public area Wi-Fi, and even me, when I was using Wi-Fi, there was a lag. So if there was something that I would recommend, is they should invest more or upgrade their Wi-Fi system. And like I said, they like to be very efficient with the amount of space that they use. And I respect that because that's part of their culture. But sometimes, in a way, they can be a bit too efficient. They can be a bit too efficient, like in their hotel rooms. It would be nice if they made their hotel rooms a bit bigger, especially for foreign guests, because we're used to using more space. But other than that, Japan was great. It was great. The people are really courteous, respectful. Their culture, I just gotta keep it real. It's just they're more advanced than other cultures that I've experienced. They're cleaner, more respectful. They really focus on the little things. It's not about speed. It's not about how fast you get something done. It's about the quality, how well you do that. Like in Korea, it's about you have to do something well in terms of quality, but speed is a big thing in Korea. We don't like how Japanese people don't like to waste things. They don't like to waste food. They don't like to just waste space like that. Korea, we don't like to waste time. It's okay if we waste our own time, but it's a big problem when we waste another person's time or if another person wastes our time. We don't waste time. Time is a very important commodity in Korea. You got to do things fast. In Japan, it wasn't like fast paced like Korea, but it was like do everything correctly, efficiently, and with quality. In Korea, it's more like just if you do it, you got to try to do things, but do it fast and just satisfy the client or the customer. But speed is a big thing in Korea. In Japan, is not as a big issue. And yeah, just Japan is a great country. I highly recommend anyone to go see Japan. You're gonna be shocked. And yeah, that's it. So, you know, for a foreigner, maybe those are just probably the only two things I could think of is if they. Now, if you come from a country like. I remember in the States, the Wi-Fi wasn't all that good anyway. So you come to Japan, you're probably the Wi-Fi in Japan is better than America or other countries. But if you do come from a country where the Wi-Fi is really fast, and maybe like Dubai, South Korea, like that, then you'll think the Wi-Fi in Japan's a bit slow or lax to what we're accustomed to. And you know, Japan has the technology, so you know, it would be nice if they, at least for Fukuoka. I don't know about the other cities. And then, you know, I respect and understand about, you know, not wasting space and being efficient with the amount of space that you use, but kind of they could just make the certain things like hotel rooms a bit bigger. that would be nice. But other than that, I mean, Japan was amazing. The food was amazing, and let me tell you about the food. Like, wow, even the food at convenience stores, like you just buy bread, sandwiches at convenience stores, and even that tastes good. Like the bread is softer, richer. They really like the food is at another level in Japan. And don't get me wrong, I tasted good Japanese food in Korea, but in Korea we still kind of like Koreanize the Japanese food a little bit. But then when I ate Japanese food in Japan, like I was like, yeah, this is the real deal. You know, like just you're not gonna beat Japanese food in Japan. Like it's just it tastes, the food just tastes better. But I have to admit, I did go to like a nice high-end Korean buffet type of place in Japan, and they Japanize the Korean food to fit, you know, Japanese customers' taste buds, right? And so it didn't really taste like authentic Korean food. And so to me, yeah, at the end of the day, just Japanese food tastes the best in Japan. Korean food tastes the best in Korea, right? but honestly though, the food was amazing in Japan though. Even like their soft cone ice cream, wow, it's just it's different. It tastes different. It's at another level. And yeah, that was my experience in Japan. It's a wonderful place. I definitely plan on going back. That's for sure. Japan was great. It's an amazing country, you know. So there y'all have it. That's my experience, at least from a perspective of a, you know, guy who lived in Korea for the past like 14, 15 years. And yeah, I would recommend anyone to go there if they want to go. Yeah, you should try going to Japan. It's great. All right, everyone. Bye.